there is no way that I'm not going to record the fact that you can translate out the audio. I don't know. I'm not going to keep recording.
No, I take it back. I can't fix it. I thought I could, but no.
I'll tell you what, Ryan, I'm disappointed, my son. Somebody who's as good with the fingers as you. very surprised.
Pound for pound, best fingers in Brisbane. That's what I think. I don't know.
No, there's 8 guys. 8 guys with better fingers in Brisbane, for sure.
Pound for pound. That's pound for pound, not over.
Pound for pound. Yeah, Ryan's not a genetic freak. The genetic freaks.
Yeah. You walk internationally saying, honestly, love, you walk up to the bar, sunburn the bar, and say, honestly, love, kid you not. Where I live, right, full of freaks. Seriously, full of freaks. On my street alone. I mean, I'm good with my fingers. And on my street, at least 8 men are still.
Different types of freaks.
That's an absolute different rate, Brisbane. Tell you what.
Yeah.
Oh, so properly start the show, ladies and gentlemen, and it's warming up my fingers.
The fingers. Show 44.
Yeah.
Show 44.
There you go. Didn't need to check in with the technical director. Show number 44, ladies and gentlemen, and it's a milestone.
It's last year. It's how are we going to call it?
This is it. Well, last depending on whether this is coming out on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, it's definitely the last fix of the year. That's full show. Yeah. Definitely the last.
Depending on, like, in the future, we're gonna refer to this year that we will never spoken this year. So it was between 2000
the year that never happened.
2021. So we don't know.
Pretty much is the year that arm wrestling didn't happen. That's pretty much it. Yeah, 2020. So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of myself, the White Oak Paul Linn, Ryan, the pilot Bowen, and Ray, Rollie Royce, welcome to the Fix Motherfuckers. It's 2021 is on the doorstep, and I'll tell you what, it better have more arm wrestling than 2020 did. Because 2020 are absolutely all not good.
Yeah.
Now then, if you tuned in to the Christmas special of the Fix, show 43, you will know that my old mate Rollie Royce had something that he was dying to get off his chest. He had a burning topic that he wanted to discuss, and we're going to do a little intro to our associated show sponsor, which is Western Survivor, ladies and gentlemen. I'm into these bacon bits. Absolutely awesome. WesternSurvivor.ca for the best beef jerky and meat-related products in the world.
Can I speak on behalf of all of us? Please send us another package. We ate everything. Please. Get some stuff
aside. We did eat everything. I think we were supposed to last an hour. We smashed it.
I'm hanging on to like 2 packs.
It's like we'd love to hold up some product and to promote it, but the fact of the matter is, we've got to go with the shirts because we ate all the freaking jerky, all of it. Oh, these bad boys. We've got 2 packs of those. Let me tell you, if you've never tried these bacon bits, God damn, they are good. Moorish as hell. But on a serious note, ladies and gentlemen, we did say it in the Christmas special. Western Survivor, www.westernsurvivor.ca. Get yourself over to the website. $2 American. You can enter a competition to win an arm wrestling table. Paul will give you a little bit of information about where the table has been made, where it comes from, its value, and so on. Go for it, Paul.
Yeah, the table comes from my buddy Lucas Raymond at Arm Assassin Strength Shop. Top-notch quality. He's got a standard template for these arm vet tables, and he's cranking them out. And I think it's about a $900 value when you factor in shipping, depending on where you're at in the world. Top-notch.
And that's the important point to Paul says. It doesn't matter where you are. Anywhere in the world, ladies and gentlemen, $2 US is going to get you a shot at winning a brand new Arm Bet branded arm wrestling table. Get yourself over www.westernsurvivor.ca. That's www.westernsurvivor.ca. Get yourself over there, enter the competition, show Western Survivor some love if you're over there as well, guys. Pick up some beef jerky products, and you can win yourself an arm wrestling table, super cheap, and have it shipped anywhere in the world. So, without further ado, on this New Year's special, first of all, Happy New Year, ladies and gents. Check it out. New Year, Happy New Year.
New Year's. Happy New Year's.
Hope everybody had a cracking Christmas and New Year. I'll tell you what, the fix is still here. Unbelievable. We're still here. Nobody freaking died, which is always nice.
It's 2021, finally.
Mate, 2021, there's so much. I think everybody is absolutely bursting at the seams to get out there and get arm wrestling. Cannot wait. Hopefully, fingers, toes and titties crossed, vaccines around the world work, and we can get out there and start arm wrestling again. But let's pick up where we left off. Rollie, what was it, son? Let us know. What did you want to talk about?
2 words. Very boring.
Here we go.
Well, Chip.
What do we want to talk about?
Okay, so I want to hear, because anyone has new fact, because I saw the Gary videos with him and they were so cringy. Then I saw the 2 videos he made after that. I looked up and I'm like, you have to be really special to call yourself a world champion, in a sport. In my sport, you call yourself world champion when you beat a novice class. Didn't even beat the novice class.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm like, Daniel, take that money. Take that money, son. You earned that money.
Right.
Am I getting it right? Wait a minute. Is that legit? That's getting paid 10 grand, 20 grand, is it?
I can't see it happen. I think he just bought himself some attention for a while. I can't. Surely not. He's not vague enough to realise that Dan's an elite and that he's winning a novice class back 10 years ago. It's chalk and cheese. It's not going to happen. No way.
Yeah.
250 pounds abs.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
weirdest thing going on here. Ray, you're quiet as balls, and the pilot kicked right in then. Give us another sound check. Shout some abuse down at my phone.
Yeah, roger that. Just coming into landing now. Dan, do we have good comms? Can you hear me loud and clear? Over.
I wanted to give a sound check, and
there
then
you go. We got Ray back.
Yeah. I did a sound check, and then I dropped out. Yeah.
You dropped out just as the pilot
taking an announcement. I was saying 260 pounds, 26 years training with abs.
Mate.
And then you see him. And then you see the guy.
It's like, there's a camera, dude. There's a camera. Look at my tattoos.
It's a common thing now where a lot of people are going to go out there and try and get noticed, try and get talked about. Yeah, effective technique to get yourself out there, but it's very, very short-lived, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I would say, Daniel, not to stretch it out. Call him next week. 10 grand. Let's go. Like, don't wait for anything. Put your money where your mouth is.
This has happened a couple times now. And when I first started arm wrestling, there was another gentleman in my area who was doing this on Facebook. Now, he didn't get the notoriety. He didn't get on Gary Roberts' thing or anything like that. But it was a little Mexican dude, named Polo Ramachi, was going and calling everybody. I mean, he had Rob Vision at a tournament wanting to fight him. Just talking all this, he's stronger than he wants to heel super match anybody, and he's a millionaire. Well, clearly the guy's not a millionaire. And we wound up, actually, I mean, he challenged me and a million other people. And this was during, when, it was during the time where Travis had a fundraiser, for Charles Fisk when he was still around and wasn't doing well. So Tim Lewis and I said, all right, well, let's see if we can get this guy to put up some money and get the money in escrow ahead of time. So we finally got the guy to put up $500, in escrow and actually arm wrestle. And obviously he was a horrible arm wrestler. Took the $500, put it in the Charles Fisk fund. We never hear of Polo Ramachi again. But I think Barry Bourne is in that same level. If this guy actually has the inheritance money that he has, Dan, Chance, Jonathan Brita, these guys who are trying to get after it, you got to get that put in escrow if you want to make this happen. But I think there's a lot of clout chasing and people kind of go after it a different way. And Ryan, you remember the guy who went and trolled everybody on the training group? Remember a while back and you're like, this guy's a troll. If he winds up showing that up in an arm wrestling practice, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, this guy's an arm wrestler now. His means to finding arm wrestling was to troll the shit out of it and then have us get angry and point him in the right direction. And now he arm wrestles and trains all the time. So I think everybody has a different approach, but he did the same thing on a smaller level.
That's the guy who said like, partial curls are bullshit. I can do more full range.
Yeah.
That's the guy.
I have Mason hands and I'm stronger than everybody on here. You guys all train for shit. But he's an arm wrestler now.
So many times you've seen examples of it. I mean, Chuck Young was another one. When Chuck came in,
Yep.
You know, he came in there and he threw the comments around, got himself a load of notoriety back in the day. Gary on Arm TV, I think it was at that time, who showcased him. He was in there saying that he could kick everybody's ass. And fair play to the lad. I mean, if you know Chuck, diamond, dude. He's great, isn't he? You gotta love him. I love Chuck.
But I mean, let's be serious. A lot of arm wrestlers seem to get mad at these guys. Why would you get mad at them? Kind of embrace them for what they're doing in the moment to generate hype. Yeah. I mean, why not enjoy it, you know? the Gary Roberts interview was
Barry to me is I don't know, he's probably more interested in trying to establish like a WWE career or something. I don't know the angle that he's taking. He's obviously not an arm wrestler. There'll come a point where he has to admit that or disappear, one or the other. They're the only choices he's got. You see people pop up like this challenging Bevan all the time. What's that guy with bloody silver hair?
The King of Connecticut or whatever.
He was great, though. He was great.
Exterminate the rat. That kind of stuff.
Brian, you had Bottom 8, right? Like a beaver pumper. Like, this guy's awesome. He's awesome.
I get it. Yeah,
He's awesome for the sport. Bottom 8 is great. These guys should be on that.
I mean, I'm the last person to talk about or to put down anyone who builds a brand. I tried to build a brand and stuck with it when I was a literal novice in the sport, and I was talking, but I didn't. I wasn't one of these guys that came out and said I'm a world champ and go for it. But it's interesting to see where people like Barry go. Clearly, if he's crazy enough to put the money up, he loses it. I mean, Dan's doing it in his bloody sleep. But I don't know. Does he stick around in arm wrestling? Does he vanish? And is he hoping for a WWE contract? Well, I don't know what he's really hoping for, but at the moment he's got the arm wrestling world wrapped around his little finger. So see what happens.
Right. I mean, if he has that type of money, then really he's just arm wrestling's biggest sponsor. If he wants to pump that kind of money into arm wrestling, then we should get a guy a pat on the back. You know, it's just more money flow into the sport. I mean, we should embrace it, especially if he's willing to do it multiple times.
Right. I will definitely believe it.
Listen, escrow. I guess he competed in Ohio. And I talked to Tim Lewis the other day. He was there, and he said he's an absolute novice. Bless his heart, but scary, could get himself hurt.
Nobody wants to see guys getting around.
I'm going to put odds on that match 1 to 100, 1 to 100,000.
I'll bet on Barry if the odds are that.
You have to, you know.
Just call Dan on that Louisiana hop or something, and you might pick up some money.
Yep.
So, guys, another one that's going to be really interesting for me is the fact that on the other side of the spectrum, you've got arguably the best arm wrestler or the best super heavyweight arm wrestler in the world right now, Monster Michael Todd, signed, sealed, and delivered on his way over to Dubai to train for 4 months with Larry Williams. For 4 months. Now, you can be as cynical as you like and say, okay, you know, Michael's just going over there to build his YouTube following and so on and so on. And if he is good on the man, why the hell not? Of course, that's great. But there is also the other option there that we see another sort of injection of serious interest in the sport of arm wrestling, because one thing that we saw in 2020 was a massive influx of interest in the sport due to the involvement of, in the first instance, people like Eddie Hall on the fringe of getting into the World Arm Wrestling League. Then off the back of that, we saw Larry taking to things in a big way, doing an unbelievable amount of content. Shame that we lost the opportunity to get some of you guys on there. I know, Ryan, you were trying to get out there. The Go Hate Me page didn't go too well. But, joking aside, Rollie Royce was actually going over there. I think he had the plane booked. Got COVID-19. Everything booked.
2 days before.
And got COVID-19 and couldn't go. But that's an interesting situation now with Mike being based out there. Because, my God, that should inject some venom into the game, you know? Right. And I'm not talking about the opposite Khaled, and I'm talking about just generally having him based.
I think also Mike as an arm wrestler will go to the next level as well. I think that I know Mike's obsessive with his training and he works harder than anyone, but Larry's pedigree for getting strong. I mean, his brand of setting PRs and all that sort of stuff. I feel Mike will learn a lot from Larry. He'll take a lot from Larry and combine it into the world of arm wrestling. And I think we see a Michael Todd emerge 4 months down the track that is the biggest, baddest, strongest Michael Todd we've ever seen. That's what I expect to happen. And yeah, the sport will grow tremendously. Watching Mike and Larry collaborate almost daily, I imagine. Yeah, it's gonna. I think it's a master stroke by Michael to do it. It takes balls to pick up your life and do that. But I hope that on his YouTube channel he comes back with 500,000 subs or something like that, because
I think he will.
The arm wrestling world,
mega for the sport. Yeah.
It's another potential star, isn't it? I mean, you know, but there's a lot of opportunity for Michael to develop himself, progress himself. But I think the thing that most people, when they think about that opportunity and Mike having gone over there, and also the potential money that surrounds that, is the genuine potential for, in some form, a match between Mike and Levin to actually come to fruition. That's the puppy, isn't it? That's the one.
Yeah, you everybody thinks. Igor, right? Igor, like right now when we're filming, he's in Dubai, and Levin was supposed to go there. But Levin couldn't make it due to technical something, you know, whatever. But they had everything scheduled, but he couldn't come. Igor is there now with Larry. Nothing. Yeah, Levin couldn't make it. Yeah, it should have been happening today. At least Levin should be there with Mike, with Larry, and then I think he would meet with Michael and maybe.
I kind of wish that. It would have been so nice to see Levin hold Khaled.
Oh.
Sorry, I didn't bring up that name again. I would have loved that so much.
8 guys in Brisbane.
I would have loved nothing more than Big Levin sitting at center with no expression on his face. Would have been so nice.
I don't know. I got mixed views on that because I feel like Khaled possibly gets thrown to the wolves a little bit, and you know there's nades out there that are making a trap for people. and trying to set it up and orchestrate drama. I'm not sure how involved in that Khaled himself is. I don't think he really knows what the hell's going on.
No, blind. I don't think Khaled would be upset by being held at centre by Levan. Like, who on this right earth would ever be upset if they're looking at Levan across the table and you can't move him? I don't think anyone
if any of us four went out there and that'd be pretty much it. Well, I don't know about you, but I'll tell you, he'd hold my ass in centre. That's for damn sure. Mm-hmm. There's certainly nothing I can say about it. But the potential of something going down with Mike and Levan, even if it's a sparring session type, like we've seen with Gennady Quickmania, with Devon and Mike recently, that's just everything's gonna go nuts again.
Oh yeah.
There would be such serious effort in that training pool too. Like, it'd be proper defending center, it'd be proper everything, it'd be great. Oh, love it.
It really is amazing what they're doing over there, like what Larry's doing for the sport. I mean, Dubai really wasn't known for arm wrestling or anything, and it's right now during COVID in 2020, it's like the mecca for arm wrestling, right? It's the center of the arm wrestling universe right now. Well, and how much exposure it's getting is great. That in Brisbane, yeah.
Well, yeah, let's be honest. Let's really, let's not get off topic here. Brisbane is still the centre of man. It's where
let's think the cradle of civilization.
Yes,
Brisbane is Mesopotamia now.
Yeah. Oh my God! I love it. You are an opportunity, Ryan Bowen. Do the.
All right, I'll do it. I'll message Hector and get a graphic design up for 8.
Thanks, guys. At least 8 men in Brisbane. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, Lachlan Adair.
Fast as frog.
I am speed. I am speed.
Brilliant. Poor bastard. Lachlan's done absolutely nothing today. Lachlan Adair.
I think Lachlan wants to give you a foot race, Neil.
Mate, I'll tell you what. Talk about back a winning horse. Can you? I'm not. Let me tell you now, I haven't got many fell running titles, Ryan. I don't think Lachlan's got too much to be afraid of if it comes to just any kind of cardiovascular challenge. Oh, Jesus, man.
We actually did that once, the Brisbane club. We just started, there was a debate going on one training session, and we said, who's the fastest in this club? And a lot of people put their hand up saying that they were the man. And we just settled. We went, all right, out in the alleyway, and we had 30 guys lined up and sprinting down the middle of the street. And Lachlan came in third, I think, that night. He only got beaten by Big Torben, who Torben used to be a bloody national level sprinter, and Jordan Davis. And then it was Lachlan came third, so he's not too bad.
So you've got how many of those were like sub 9.5 seconds? 8 men.
How many pulled hamstrings were there? What the hell are y'all doing? I'd argue with you, but I wouldn't test it.
about 3 steps in, I'm like, yeah, I'm not in this race.
There goes the hammy.
Mate, there's something about groups of arm wrestlers when they get together and somebody talks about some random thing like that, and all of a sudden you find yourself outside. My favourite ever, I remember I was at one arm wrestling competition, and they had like on the wall of the venue, they had like a competition for long jump going on. Okay. And there was a particular woman, I can't remember who it was, but she was going for like a world record. And it was something ridiculous, like she was going to jump something like 4 or 5 meters. It was like a bloody big jump, And one of the lads in there just comes out with a comment, one of the arm wrestlers, he's just come off the table and he's knackered and he goes, what's she jumping? And, let's say it's 4.5 meters. No, this girl here, she's going for 4.5 meters. And he went, 4.5 meters? That's not that far. I could jump. And he was from Brisbane, this guy. He said, made a big comment, like, I could jump like 6 meters. And so everybody's like, you can jump 6 meters. He's like, I will jump 6 meters now. And we're like,
let's do it.
Yeah. So in the true fair way of doing things, it was like, right, straight outside. Now, bearing in mind, this woman's jumping. She's on a running track. She's jumping into a sand pit at like Olympic level. We figured that we need something similar. So the nearest thing we can find is outside the venue across the street. There's like a decorative gardens, like an ornamental garden. Gardens. You got to love this. In the middle of the gardens, right? They have rose bushes. You know, like a long set of rose bushes. And we walk over and one of the guys says, yeah, that's probably, it's about 5 meters. so basically wearing a pair of tight jeans, you've got to run like hell down this wet grass and jump over 5 meters of rose bushes. Anyway, there's so much peer pressure from the rest of the lads, he ends up doing it. Martin, he was called. Martin, go on, Martin, jump. And Martin's like, you can see that every fibre of his being didn't want to do it. He's like, oh shit. He wishes he'd never spoke. But we're like, go on, Martin. Yeah, just jump that 5 meters. So he takes a run up, and his run up's like ridiculously long. It's like 100-meter run up. By the time he got to the rose, he was knackered. He was slowing down, but he committed so hard, and his shoes were like, they didn't have any grips on them. So if he'd have put the brakes on, he'd just fallen on his ass. So he carried on running, and he went for it. Anyway, he gets 2.5 meters, lands in the middle of the fucking rose bushes, thorns in his legs, and they were, he properly cartwheeled into and he rolled out to the side, and there were thorns all stuck in his legs. He was, mate, I was sick with laughing. Absolutely loved it. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. If you can come up with any ridiculous sports that you believe that you are the world champion at, if you just gave it a shot. 2 things. Number 1, are you from Brisbane? Get out there and give it a shot, guys. Don't let the fact that it takes years of practice put you off.
Yeah. I think the first shirt will be 8 men in Brisbane, and then the next one, sub 9 seconds, 8 men in Brisbane.
Sub 9.
Sub 9.
Sub 9.
Guys, we got a couple of questions, and another one that came in, and this is interesting. First of all, 2020. Who was the arm wrestler of the year 2020 in a year that sucked? This is a question we had in.
That's a huge question. It's something that I once you guys are thinking, I want to say that this has been in my head for a while. I think the sport, I would love to see the sport. I don't know which organisation can do this, but maybe a neutral organisation. I thought about, could I do it under pound for pound arm wrestling? I would love to see an annual gathering like the Golden Globes sort of style thing, where you bring arm wrestlers from everywhere, and you formally have nominations, and the world votes on arm wrestler of the year, match of the year, hooker of the year, top, whatever, all of it. And we had this massive party.
Hooker of the year.
We got some weird nominations for that one, don't you? But
yeah, people compare.
Best hooker of the year.
That's good marketing.
Best fingers of the year.
Seriously, would you guys think that would work? Would that event have been in Las Vegas or something, or wherever?
I mean, let me just stop you there and say,
no.
First, I don't think it'll work. Number 2, if it's in Las Vegas, anyway.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, we'll have a good time anyway.
Yeah.
Set it up. Somebody set that.
Oh, I would love it.
Anyway. Oh, it'd be awesome. Absolutely. Well, yeah, in 2020, because there wasn't any arm wrestling really. So we gotta take your time and think about that. And I think coming back to what we were saying, there's categories, isn't there? What are we judging it on? Best competitive outings? Best? I mean, what's the criteria?
Out of North America, straight away for me, Corey West and Dan Mosier come to mind. Out of North America, if I'm thinking the rest of the world, I've got to keep thinking a bit longer.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, if you're talking about sort of things achieved in the year, I'd have to throw my hat in there on Devon Barrett because of arm bet. Because I think arm bet is huge.
Well, I think Devon was mega active during all this. He was one of the few people that was still traveling around creating all kinds of content and spreading arm wrestling. So, I mean, if you wanted to award somebody, influence and impact that he had during the year, I mean, it almost has to be Devon. Because most of the world was locked down, and somehow this guy's globetrotting,
Yeah, literally put his life on the line.
Yeah.
Turned out, but let's say if we're giving it to influence Devon, competition, success, really hard because
it's local. Everything's local.
Yeah.
There was nothing global, so it's very hard to say. Like the best match of the year. That could it can happen anywhere. I would put down Kurdecha versus Krasimir. Best match of the year.
Yeah, which did take.
Yeah, that's hard to argue.
It was a cracking match. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Amazing match.
Commentary sucked.
Agreed.
But no, joking aside, the competition side of things from an arm wrestling perspective is very difficult. But I think there's pockets of the world that have carried on doing bits. Ryan's in one of them. Ray, you did your nationals, I believe. You actually had the Latvian nationals. I don't think many countries did.
We had 4 competitions here. We went to Lithuania. I went to Norway at the start of the year, so we've been doing a lot of stuff.
Ryan, you did your nationals, didn't you?
No, it wasn't a Aussie nationals. It was a state title, but it was a really good event. We had a great turnout, and we were averaging like 35 people in the weight class, so it was pretty good. And the energy in there was amazing. It was the only Australian national or Australian tournament for the year, so everyone had a blast. But definitely not enough to really answer any questions. It's actually, to me, it's the most intriguing thing about the arm wrestling of 2020 is now we don't know what the order is. I'm certain that the order has changed, and we don't know what that order now is. So that's the best part about 2020 is that we get a surprise in 2021. So who's who?
I want to give a big shout out also for Total Arm Wrestling League. Jeff Frank gave it a crack. He had a go at it. Gave a go, put on some matches, put on a couple of events. One of them, the tent blew down, killed 9 guys. But outside of that, also did the thing in Boise, just small number of deaths, not that bad. But he also did the thing recently in Boise, in Idaho. Good effort, I think. Frank, hat off.
Well, were you guys able to catch Gary Roberts and Travis when they kind of talked about that event and everything that Jeff had to go through to make that happen? I didn't realize that. Apparently he lost, like there were sponsorships involved, and basically everything that could go wrong with that event did. Like he lost his venue right before, the company that he was getting the awards from shut down, and he had to pay an exorbitant amount of money to have them reopen to make his awards. Apparently he had to jump through a gamut of hoops to make it happen, and I believe he may have lost money on it. So Jeff, if you're listening to this, man, stay the course. Thank you for what you did, because it provided a lot of arm wrestlers an opportunity to make some money. And there's going to be more in the future, Jeff, so don't fold up the tent.
Yeah, good on you, Jeff. Got a bit of arm wrestling out there. And it was nice just to have something to look forward to. Here comes a show, it's something we can talk about. In terms of notoriety, let's go North America. Who are we going to say? Who was the most notable active guy out there? Probably Mojo, wasn't it?
That's Mojo, yeah.
It's hard to argue. Yeah, and pretty much every big event in the South and even in some other areas, he showed up and dominated. Like you said, Corey West was really active also.
Yeah, and an honourable mention, Jordan Sill, with a sort of holy moment right at the end of it.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me as well, where Jordan Sill what Jordan, and maybe I get Jordan on the show and catch up about that, because how good he looked.
He
a
looked
little bit bigger
at that weight. Yeah, he looked really
yeah. Does he ever go down again? I mean, I'm not sure he needs to, because
I don't
I'll tell
think
you
he
what.
should. Yeah.
He looked really serious at that weight.
Yeah, if you could get him on, I'd love to tune in and listen to that, because I think there's a lot that can be learned from that too, especially like his body type and finding your niche for weight and everything like that. I'd love to hear about what he's doing to cut and where he's going to stay.
I'll try and catch up with Jordan, get him on the thrill, get him on here. Jordan, if you're watching, mate, let's get on a show. Let's find out a little bit about what's in your mind, mate, because, I think it's fair to say, particularly with wins over such as Todd, very impressive. And I know he's got a history with Todd, he knows Todd, but even so, hell of a win.
He's kind of a little bit of an enigma too, because he doesn't do much on social media. He seems like such a nice guy, but I really just don't know too much about his background. Would be interesting to learn.
Yeah. And another important things that have come out of the year, as we continue sort of that sort of year review, I'm going to say the return of on TV, Gary Roberts.
Yep.
It's got to be an interesting one, because for somebody like myself who's been in the sport for as long as I have, Gary Roberts was part of the fabric, emerged in the sort of early 2000s, the early noughties, and he was around there everywhere. When you went to North America, name and location, he was everywhere. Good dude, and really went for it. So nice to see Gary back in the fold, and and it seems in a good place.
The perfect year for him to return to go through the archives that I think he said what he's got. He could post a video every day for like 2.5 years, basically.
Longer,
something like that. So, and some of the footage that we've seen released has just been absolute gold. So, it's what the sport needed this year when we didn't have anything to watch, to be honest.
Yeah. Really put the time.
Neil Baker,
and the other. Let's concentrate on the important stuff, though. What about Uncle John? Uncle John's Armwrestling channel, ladies and gents. If you've not seen Uncle John, get over, check out John. Go out and check out Uncle John. Look at some of his stuff. Guy, he's trying hard, talented guy. Great production value on there. I mean, so much better than me. Just great. Loved Uncle John. And he's worked his balls off. Did 2,000 reps with hammer curls, I think.
Yeah.
What did he rep?
15, awesome.
10 or 15 kilos or something, 2,000 reps. What a prick.
The tension come from that.
I love it. I want to do it. I just don't want to commit the time.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good job, John.
Yeah.
And,
Aussie arm wrestler. I'll give a shout out to Jake Ward, Aussie arm wrestler.
And the motherfucker.
He's a good dude. He stayed with me the other week. The first time I really got to know Jake, and he's such a generous dude too. Time and energy, money, anything he can do to help you. He spoke for 7 hours continuous at our state titles. Did not stop. Commentated on the mic 7 hours.
Energy, Jake. He's just a lovely dude, real little ball of energy. Yeah. And the guy who's made an outing in 2020 and got the world talking about arm wrestling. Also, on the other side, we talked about small guy there. What about Derrick Smith? Love Derrick as well.
Right.
And Derrick's sleeping giant. In every sense.
He is.
Do not sleep on that guy. I really expect that Derrick Smith can go seriously big in the future. He's a natural giant. He's joined up. He's very in tune with the sport, very in tune with his physical capabilities. I think he's growing in confidence. I think he's growing in ability, technically. Yeah. He's deep. His interest in the sport runs deep, So I do think also that...
Yeah, that's the real thing, the love that he so very clearly has for the sport. Yeah. What will serve him so well. His consistency on the table and training and thinking about the sport, even if he's not just the man yet, it's just that consistent nature of it and his genetic frame and potential. Yeah, he turns into something severely dangerous. Absolutely. I don't doubt it.
Right. he's doing a lot on Reddit and everything, right? I mean, he's kind of using some different platforms, and he runs one of the biggest clubs and most well organized clubs in the country out there in Alpha Empire. I mean, he really has it structured. Like we got a club here, but he has it really, really structured. Like dues, I think, are paid, and like they compete as a team. It's really awesome. He's very structured in everything he does. And I think he has the potential to be a phenomenal arm wrestler as well, which he's already almost there.
And another guy I want to give a little mention to here, another two actually. First of all, a guy who's had, just the most challenging year possible, in my opinion. I don't think anybody could have possibly gone through a more difficult year. It's Jordy Williams.
Yeah.
Chocolate Thunder. Jordy, love you, brother. Absolutely love you. Great dude. Lovely, lovely person. Arm wrestling mad. The guy is arm wrestling mad. Loves it. Doesn't get out there and blow his own trumpet. Yeah. I mean, my God, if ever you needed. I mean,
guys, if you're watching this, send him a friend request on Facebook. He does a little podcast every once in a while. He just does it on Facebook Live, no platforms. It's always good stuff. He brings people on. He's so positive.
He really is. He's a great dude. He's a lovely lad. He gets people on, as Paul says, does his show on Facebook, gets people talking about arm wrestling. Been a horrific year for Jordy, and yet he smiles through it. And to be perfectly honest, what he went through this year would have ended me. It would have leveled my ass out. So he's twice the man I am. That's for damn sure. Hats off to you, Jordy Williams. You're a rock star.
Absolutely,
an absolute rock.
2020.
Hope this next year brings a hell of a lot more positivity into you and your family's life than 2020 did, mate. That's for damn sure. The other one that I want to mention, a bit closer to home for me personally, in Mighty's Corner, Mighty Paul Maiden, the PAA, brilliant stuff in the UK, running shows, running tournaments, super match events. Again, loves the game, injecting venom in the local scene. To be perfectly honest with you, I've sort of tried to take a step back a little bit and allow that thing to go. And to be honest, one of the reasons there is I dedicated an enormous amount of my life to the sport of arm wrestling in the UK, which could be positive and could also be negative in some ways, because if anything happened to me, that leaves the potential for the sport to die out and nobody pick up the reins. And it's lovely to see the Paul, the guys around Paul and the rest of the UK, Dean Bolt and the other guys, picking up the slack and being active, doing a lot of stuff. I think that's excellent, and I've enjoyed watching that. Get yourself over to In Mighty's Corner, guys. Check that out. They've got arm wrestling content, they've got interviews, they've got people on there. Really good stuff coming out of there. So,
I recently started to track some of that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And
I didn't realize it was out there for a while.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, people like Kyle has been on there. Tom Holland has been out. Stoika Bogdan. Solid pullers active there. Paul himself, Paul's active as hell, was creating his balls off, doesn't necessarily look like it. Looks like he's sponsored by a donut shop. But we got, what can I tell you? I trained the guy, you know what I'm saying? Way of the donut. But no, joking aside.
Today, shut up and eat.
Don't have another pie. No, joking aside though, Paul can arm wrestle his head off. He can really pull. And, more power to those guys in the PAA, doing a great job.
Hasn't 2020 been like the year of content creators though? Like for a year where there's been very little arm wrestling, the content creator popularity and population has kind of gone through the roof. And while we're giving shout outs, I'd like to give a shout out to a couple local guys who are really starting up small right now, but I think are also kind of in the same vein as Aussie Arm Wrestler. There's an Italian dude from Philly, Jimmy Gutierrez. He's doing a little podcast, Church of Arm Wrestling. Super high energy guy, goes to every event and goes live at it and talks trash and kind of commentates the whole way through it. I love him. He's awesome. And there's another guy out of the Philadelphia area, Ryan Grondin. who's titled his YouTube channel. He's got the bands and everything, and Levon shared his stuff. The world's worst arm wrestler. Well, he's got a couple concepts out there right now. He's interviewing like novice arm wrestlers and new arm wrestlers. He's called the podcast The Other 98%, meaning like excluding the elites. This is for new guys. This is for the journeyman arm wrestler. And I think they're actually going to do a Facebook page right now or a group that is going to exclude all the elites and kick them all out. And I think it's totally awesome. And let those guys just go out in their own forum. I love it.
That's good. It is.
Sorry, go for it, Ryan.
Yeah, it has been the year of the content creator, as you said, though. It's been such, that is probably the biggest positive for the sport, that our sport has been positioned well enough that we've had that opportunity to do that. Sarah Buckman, she's blown up as well, naturally. She's on there. Michael Todd has blown up. There's so many out there that are now.
One that I don't believe hasn't. How in the has 217 not gone stratospheric?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Brad Cook.
Guys, Brad Cook is the man. He is the man.
Oh my God.
We as promoters got to get this guy to our event, and we got to get his channel to a bigger platform. Like if you want to see like the absolute best quality in filming and editing that there is in arm wrestling, bar none at any level, it is Brad Cook. Look this guy up if you're not following him. I know he operates in a pocket of the country, but I think he's going to expand, and I think people are going to start bringing him around to their events.
Mate, Brad Cook can show up at an arm wrestling competition. He films the arm wrestling competition, and it can be like a local tournament in a friggin' pub or something. And when you watch it back on his channel, it's like you're watching Gladiator. You know what I mean? It's like the production quality is absolutely acid.
Yeah,
the guy is talented, he angles, everything. Cinematic. It's just awesome. I love it.
This
you're so right. He takes like an event with like.
What was that, right?
I said this podcast compared to him looks like it's filmed on a calculator.
Oh my God! You're like the absolute opposite spec. I mean, you've got Brad Cook, who's like, to me, you know, if he's a Porsche, we're like
No, the
bicycle.
Car. Mr. Bean was always.
Seriously, hats off to Brad Cook. You're an animal, son. Absolute
217. Look him up. 217. Give him a sub.
Get over there. What a sick, twisted son of a bitch that is. I don't know how. I mean, how do you practice? How do you wake up one morning and think to yourself, I know. I mean, when he watched that back, did he watch his own stuff and get a semi on? Was he like, I mean.
He reached out to me when I started my YouTube, and I was doing all kinds of dumb stuff like filming on the camera up and down and everything else. And he sent me a message and said, "Dude, you gotta I got some advice for you. Get a camera." And he gave me he pointed me in the exact direction of every accessory to get and what settings to use it on and how to set up the tripod, everything. And I told him, I said, dude, I'm maxed out in technical quality, but it's because of him and just out of the kindness of his heart to reach out to me.
Yeah, he did the same thing for me on my camera settings. I asked him, Brad, I just bought these Sony cameras. I don't know what to do. And he said, he sent me a link with, here is the perfect settings for your camera. Put it on this. And the man is talented, knows his stuff. He's generous. And he deserves a million more subs than he's got. And I think he gets there. I think it's just a way that any one of his videos could pop up and just blow up. And so
I 100% plan on having Brad at the Arnold Classic in 2021 to film Arm Wars there. I 100% plan on him being there. Number one, just to allow him that opportunity. We're going to have obviously a lot of big names over there, and I would love to have Brad over. Because the dude is ridiculous. He really is. So yeah, he's my producer of the year. 217. All day, every day. Ridiculous. Haircut of the year for me, it's a little closer to home. I'm going with ROLLIE Royce. Just phenomenal. Throughout, I'm going to say an extremely challenging year, Ray, where, barbers often haven't been open. And yet you've managed to retain that boyish quiff throughout. Yeah. There it is. 16, look at that. From any angle. 16. Yeah. Yeah. Can't get served in a pub.
Nope. Never.
What about, I'm going to give TikTok account, Armwrestling TikTok account of the year to Justin Bishop.
Yes.
Justin Bishop. Man, he is a TikTok natural, Justin Bishop. I'll tell you what, he has gone from zero to 80,000 followers in like 4 months. Justin Bishop.
Oh. He's got a bunch of viral videos. He's awesome. It's hilarious. He's basically, it's like comedy level, like top-notch stand-up level content. It's hilarious.
It's amazing. He's really, really good at TikTok. He's just taken to it like nothing. And so, I think that, I don't know, I don't know where he goes with that. I was talking to him about it the other day. I'm like, well, you got to convert this into something because he's got so much attention now. But yeah. So Justin Bishop, well done. TikTok Awards to go to you.
Oh, yeah.
Now then, another question we had, taking it back to a slightly more serious note. Who is the arm wrestler, male or female, who you believe has the most potential to have a massive 2021 should we get back to... Who's going to be the breakout superstar of 2021 should the world go back to normal competition? Who's that person? And bearing in mind, you've got the return of guys like Oleg Jock coming back in. And, who's the puppy? Who've you got?
I'll vote. I'm going to guess Hermes Gasparini.
Ooh.
You thought he was going to go.
I don't know.
8 men in Brisbane.
I'm going to suggest someone from Brisbane and myself.
I will say.
You know, I was fighting every fibre of my body. I wanted to say that. But.
It's like,
I was doing my best for Danny Tesh. Danny Tesh at 76 kilos.
But honestly, Hermes, I know he's coming back from injury, from surgery. He's put out a lot of photos lately of him looking like a freaking weapon. And knowing what he did to Michael Todd a couple of years ago showed his potential as an overall based arm wrestler. And I think that's going to be the strongest, most dangerous Hermes we've ever seen. And I would expect to see him at the very pointy end of the world rankings next year, I reckon.
Yeah, me too.
I
go with
Hermes.
Yeah, I go with Hermes. Yeah.
Paul, any advance on Gasparini?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're talking like male wise. I'm like you said. I'm excited to see Oleg back into form. I mean, it's been so long, and I mean, it's almost like he got forgotten. I'm very interested to see how he progresses along. And, does he get back to the top form where he was at left on? Can't really predict it, but I'm interested to see it.
I've got a couple of mentions I want to put out there, and two I'm going to go with. First of all, I'm very, very interested to see what happens with Sarah Bachman. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, Sarah Bachman has rediscovered us. She just looks like a friggin' she looks sick. Yeah. Just crazy. So how far, is Sarah 100% committed to arm wrestling competition now, or her aspirations in other areas? Which, let's be honest, the world's her oyster. But if she comes back to arm wrestling and pursues it hard, where's she going to go to? Because she's so focused. I mean, just when she's on something, she's very, very single-minded and very focused. So I'm determined to see. I'm very interested to see how far Sarah goes and how hard she commits. The other one, I would love to see post issues that we've seen with Devon and the weight loss thing and the redefining. Or are we going to see Devon drop to a lighter weight class And if so, what would that weight class be? I'd love to understand where he's going to go with that.
Right.
That one's very, very interesting as well. And the other guy that I really want to see get out there and get involved in international competition is probably Mindaugas Teresaitis. I don't know. He's always got this almost sinister motivation about him. This like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Got like this,
what you mean. Yeah.
like a friggin' Bond villain or something. But you always think you always think that he's planning something that's just gonna get everybody up at some point. But I really like his confidence. And he is a guy that genuinely seems to be advancing himself constantly. Every time you see him, he's put another little bit on. He's putting a little bit on. And I'm interested to see how far he can go. And I love his character. I love his whole sort of very straight, but a little bit sarcastic and a little bit dark. So I like that a lot. Very keen to see how far he can go next year. And if we're talking match of the year, I'm very, very interested to see, well, not match really, more event of the year, October. I cannot wait. We can put the battleground on. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Because Flora Hoagland, Ray, ROLLIE, and whoever the lineup is in there, whether it's Herman, whether it's bloody, the guys we put on there originally were sick. But if we can get that blend right, that could just be the most outstanding battleground event ever. I can't wait. Really cannot wait. And we've dwelled on that quite a bit, guys. 2020.
Yeah.
What a bag of year that was. Right, last category. Who is now the most hated arm wrestler in the world? Is it our very own Ryan Bowen?
I'm putting in a good effort. I'm putting in a solid effort.
Has he got to Michael's level?
Gaining.
Eight guys in
Michael takes some
Brisbane that are
beating.
hated more.
Yeah. We just don't know. Everyone hates him.
I think if you said who is the most hated out of India, I would win for sure. India's on my case right now. India is on my case.
You're not selling many T-shirts in India, are you not, mate? At the moment?
No, I think I've had one order in India, so yeah, it was no.
Oh, look, we content creators. We missed arm wrestling news. In all seriousness, that guy's edit was hilarious. All right.
Yeah.
I know.
I'll take my head up in it. That he must watch every video of mine. Like he must to get all of that.
It was unbelievable.
I think it might be. I have a guy on. I don't know who he is because thumbs ups and thumbs down on YouTube are anonymous, but I swear I have a guy out there who has my notifications turned on bell. Because in the first 10 seconds of every video I upload, there's a thumbs up, no matter what.
Everyone has that. Everyone has that.
It's so consistent. I like sit there and watch it, and it takes no more than 30 seconds for that thumbs down to happen. Every video. and then it ends up with a ratio of like 98% thumbs up to thumbs down. But in that first minute, thumbs down is the lead, always.
Somebody has a bot set up to auto thumb down it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're nearly 58 minutes into this episode. This New Year's Eve stroke New Year's Day special of The Fix. And I just want to, on a personal note, thank everybody so much for tuning in to Supernatural Strength channel this year, because I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I haven't got out of my house hardly at all this year. I set up the channel with the intention of just talking to people about arm wrestling and strength sports generally, strongman and arm wrestling. I have not got the slightest idea of what I'm doing. I mean, I know for a fact Ray and Ryan can tell you that it's true. I have no clue what I'm doing. Not a technical guy at all. So, no idea what I'm doing. But still, you guys have supported the channel and tuned in. So that thanks, guys. Appreciate it very much. Really do. Hope hopefully we've brought some content to you that you've all enjoyed out there. I want to thank these three guys on the call with me right now, because I'll tell you what, cheer me up. We do these shows. Paul, Ryan and Ray, all absolutely top blokes, and we've had some fun. We have had some fun in 2020 when it's otherwise been pretty dark and pretty crap out there, you know. So thanks, lads. I appreciate.
Neil, on behalf of the audience watching, wanted to thank you personally. The amount of energy you've put in this year has been, I think, bigger than anyone. I don't think anyone has put as much energy into podcasts. The amount of guests, the amount of shows, it's phenomenal. So thank you. I do believe you are the most knowledgeable person in the sport of arm wrestling. And to bring all of this out this year has been a godsend. I know I've watched so many of your shows. And guys, for the YouTube listeners, do us a favor. Go and share it. One person who doesn't yet subscribe to this channel and tell them to sign up, because what are we on? 7,000, 8,000 people here. This needs to be a 30,000, 40,000. Right. Next week. Let's do it.
Right. Everybody out there watching, you got to understand the level of complexity and effort that goes into putting this stuff together. And Neil not only does this show, but he does a million others, like on a daily basis. Like we have to sit back and appreciate the amount of time and effort that goes into that. And the only way to support it is to get more subs. So like Ryan said, if each person can go out and just get another subscriber, or share it, it would only do a fraction of what is deserved for what Neil has put out in this past year. So if you got it in your heart, go ahead and share it and get some more subscribers for the guy, because he deserves way more than he has.
Yeah. Don't forget, we are also streaming on Spotify and other podcast apps, and for this show and everything else. But yeah, for me too, this channel and opportunity to do this show was like imagine we have done almost every week since we started. Not almost, but every week, sometimes 2 times a week, we have put out shows. So since COVID started, you know, we had something to do. Listeners had something to talk about, to watch, to hate, to love, whatever. I said, please like, subscribe, whatever you do, support the arm wrestling. The more people get involved, more these stories need to be said, told, and heard, you know. I still, when I have nothing to do, I will browse up some videos that I haven't seen, you know, any kind of interviews you have done, and I'm just going to put it and listen to it in the background. So I subscribe. Everyone should too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks a lot, guys, and a massive thank you to all the guys who've given up their time, often late in the evenings here in the UK, and Christ knows what time it is where you guys are out there. But thank you so much for coming on, giving us the opportunity to feature your story, tell people about what you're doing at this point in time during the COVID pandemic. It's been an absolute honour and a pleasure getting all my guests on here, and we will get through as many guests as we possibly can on the Deep Inside series, Supernatural specials, and the other elements we do. And we'll also have more strongman content as well coming back as soon as we kick things off with the Giants Live. And just on that, a closing note there, just want to say for the people out there who have lost people during the COVID pandemic, want to dedicate the Supernatural Strength channel this year for what we've done. 2 straight off the top of my head. For Donovan, Jordy's son, for Aaron Page, and all the other people that have fallen in 2020. Everything we do on the Supernatural Strength channel, I want to dedicate that to you guys. We've been inside talking about things. A lot of people out there have been suffering a great deal more. And again, thanks for taking the time, for tuning in, guys, and for showing your support to the channel. This has been The Fix, New Year's special. Hopefully 2021 brings us a lot more to talk about, a lot more solid arm wrestling content. Until we see you back on The Fix, ladies and gentlemen. Take it easy, buddies.
What grabs your eyes on that, if anything?